I'm gonna,
I've got to get a regular mezzanine.
You can't see one.
One to that and one outward. Yeah. So I think I'm on the slow one.
about 4 years back or so, I took my old computer here over to David and I says, get me a icon that I punch, and I go right to the mezzanine. And he did it.
Hey, you're smarter than you look. Nice to have those connections.
Me too, but David's on his way out, and I'm gonna have to start being nicer to Matt, I think.
Yeah.
The clock is almost up here, so they wait until you hear the chimes.
Morning.
The bell will toll at 9:01.
Usually when I think we're gonna have a short meeting, it turns out always really long. It doesn't look like we've got much coming in, then it's. Yeah, and then she can go through and start printing charts. So in Canada, Sherry has no backup. So that's most true. So it looks like it is. So that's
Maybe he's keeping a little profile of that house.
Maybe he should go to tractor and see if he's driving very down the car up to
You have lots of good ideas. Most of them get you in trouble. Good morning and welcome to the Berry County Board of Commissioners meeting for September 26th. It is now called to order. Will Commissioner, staff, and guests please stand for invocation and pledge of allegiance?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for another beautiful day in Berry County and for the opportunity to serve the citizens as we try our best to chart the future of Berry County. We pray for your wisdom and for your guidance as we pursue these deliberations. We also pray for those who could not be with us today because of illness and hope you watch over them. Thank you for all that you do and provide for us. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. For purposes of attendance, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Carlton, absent. Campbell, absent. Doster,
Present.
Getty,
Here.
Hatfield,
Here.
Jackson,
Here.
Smelker,
Here.
Tunison.
Thank you. Approval of written agenda. At this time, any member of the board or public may ask for an item to be removed from the consent agenda and placed under items for consideration. Hearing no such request, does any commissioner wish to change the agenda additionally? Hearing no such request, the agenda is approved as written. Reports from state and county officers. Do we have any state and county officers who wish to present to the board this morning?
You do. First and foremost, it's my privilege to introduce Cindy White. She's going to be replacing me in my position when I retire, so she was an excellent choice. Cindy and I have been working together to try to bring her up to speed on some things, and she's going to do well. So please welcome her.
Welcome.
Yes.
I wanted to talk to you again about Prop 2. A few months ago, I brought a presentation with all the changes that Proposition 2 is going to bring to our voting system and a lot of the expenses that it's going to incur. So I've put together a plan. I've met with our township clerks, and we have come up with a consolidation, so to speak. So when schools have elections, I consolidate a lot of the townships, whatever I can that's contiguous, if they have same voters. For example, in November, Bellevue Schools is going to be on our ballot because schools don't follow the county lines. Schools kind of jet into our county. And so, for example, Hastings Township has 2 voters. It does not make sense to open up a precinct and pay your workers for 2 voters. So I have consolidated them with a contiguous township. They have to send their 2 voters postcards letting them know where they will need to go to vote for that election only. We've done up a template for the clerks to use and to send out. So on that same note, for the 9 days of early voting, rather than doing one site for Berry County, our group has decided to do a consolidation. And that consolidation consists of Baltimore Township, Assyria Township, and Maple Grove Township. And we have come up with who will be hosting. Baltimore Township will be hosting those other 2 townships. That will save on the number of election inspector workers that are needed, save on the amount that's paid to them, et cetera. And also save on the amount of equipment that needs to be ordered and paid for. So Carlton Township will host and consolidate with Castleton Township and Woodland Township because they have all the same similar voters. Berry Township will host and consolidate with Prairieville Township. Rutland 1 and 2 will host and consolidate with Hastings Charter Township and Hope Township. And the city of Hastings has 4 wards, and those 4 wards will consolidate and act as one voting site. I cannot mandate that townships join in on this consolidation. I had 5 of them that wanted to go on their own, and they had their own reasons for that. For example, keeping track of their own voters. So if there is a jam or an imbalance at the end of the day, they feel it's easier to find where that mistake took place and not have to worry about these other townships that are consolidating. On the flip side, they have to buy their own equipment, and the state will be reimbursing up to 40% for the ones that go alone. The ones that are consolidating, the state has put out information saying that they will consolidate 80%. So the Secretary of State has been awarded $30 million to allocate throughout the state. There's 83 counties. So I have already submitted my plan to the state as far as who's going to consolidate with who. And I also applied for a grant application as to how much equipment we're going to need to order, how much it's going to cost us for workers to run this 9-day process, how many tabulators we need to order, how many voter assist terminals, the VAT that is the touch screen, how many of those we need to order. One of those is, whether you use it or not, one of those is required to be available in each voter location to the voters. So I have submitted that to the state last week. I don't know when Cindy will be hearing from the state as to how much we're going to be allocated, reimbursed. But I'm letting you know that I have applied for this grant. If they don't reimburse us 100%, depending on how far that 30 million stretches, the county could be on the hook for some of this equipment, but hopefully we will be able to make that balance. Any questions for me?
What's the cost of that equipment at this point?
So for the, let me see. So for a tabulator, which comes with the ballot box, that when you feed the ballot through the tabulator and then the ballot drops down into the ballot box, it's $6,496. We need 10 of them. 5 for the ones that consolidate and 5 for the ones that are not. For the VAT, the touchscreen, the VAT comes with a printer, and it's a special printer that we can't use the printers that we already have because the printer has the ability to print a 22-inch ballot, which will be used next year when we have the presidential candidates. We'll need a longer ballot form. It also has the ability to print duplex. It'll print on both sides. So no township or city will run out of ballots because this new ICX Prime has the ability, you can put in the card for that voter, and it will bring up the ballot style that they need. Not every township has, not everybody gets the same ballot just because you're all voting in one township. My township is split between Hastings voters and Middleville voters. So therefore, there's 2 different ballot styles in that township. Carlton Township has 7 different ballot styles. So the workers really need to be on their toes. If I were to consolidate to one location, which I don't know where that would be, short of maybe the fairgrounds, I counted up and I would need approximately 70 ballot styles. And the propensity of someone making an honest mistake and giving someone the wrong ballot would be much greater. So I don't know if I gave you the price of the ICX that comes with a printer is $52,125. So if I did a little negotiating with them, and if we don't need, that also comes with a voting booth. There's no reason they can't use their own voting booths that they already have for that 9 days. So we can take $300 away from that price for each one, because they can use their own voting booths. Anything else? Yes.
The tabulators, you have to have a new tabulator for early voting? Can't
Yes.
use the same tabulator?
No. So how it will work is the people that go and do the 9 days of voting, and they put their ballot through the tabulator, each night the ballots are retrieved out of the ballot box and put into a approved ballot bag and with a seal on it. Then it can be put into a larger ballot bag with a seal on that. They need to pay attention to make sure that the number of ballots that were tabulated match the number of ballots that they're sealing up. So each night they need to make sure that they balance.
Is it the same tabulator that we're using in the regular day?
Yes. It's really a new and improved tabulator. However, ours have been upgraded so that they're essentially the same thing.
Thank you.
Commissioner Tunison?
Pam, with this consolidation with these townships, and one tabulator is going to be used for if you have
Right.
3 or 4 townships?
So
How does that work?
it's all in the programming. So it'll be programmed, there'll be a separate card that goes into the tabulator, and it's programmed to accept, for example, Rutland, Hastings Charter, and Hope Township ballots. It's programmed to accept those. It'll spit out a tape at the end of each day, and tell you how many voters, how many ballots went through the tabulator, and also that should match up with what's on, the number on the tabulator. So it's in the programming.
Okay, all right, okay.
And then, two, there's separate programming for Election Day tabulator. So at the end of Election Day, the canvassers will be comparing the tape from the 9-day early voting, the tape, if they have an AV counting board, that will have a tape, and then the tape from Election Day. So they'll need to be adding those three together to come up with the total number of voters for that township or townships.
There's considerable savings in consolidating.
There is.
I mean, when you're talking about these numbers.
I think when I was here before, I gave a rough estimate that just to pay the workers for 4 wards in the city of Hastings was going, and they pay $15 an hour. Just to pay those workers for 9 days, for 8-hour days, would be $12,000 something. Also in this grant, there was an area where I could ask for reimbursement for payment for the workers.
So we have over $100,000 in equipment expenses.
About $125,000 approximately. And we have it ask on here how many voters we will be servicing, and it's around 51,000.
And we have another probably $100,000 in labor expense to run the 9 days. And you said that is, some of that could be reimbursed?
Up to 80% is what they're projecting right now that they'll be able to reimburse.
That's a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
That's a little better, well, we don't know if we've got the grant yet, but it sounded like an unfunded mandate from Lansing from the get-go, so,
Right.
you know, so it is gonna cost the county some additional funds one way or another,
That's right.
so, okay. Additional questions for Pam?
So when I was doing my budget for next year, knowing that I wasn't going to be here and knowing that Prop 2 passed, it was really trying to hit a moving target. I don't know. I just tried to do the best I could.
Do you have a retirement date?
I do. I want to invite you all to my retirement party, and all of you as well, over at the Titan Center on October 20th.
October 20th?
It's in the afternoon from 2 to 4.
October 20th, from
Yes.
2 to 4.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Great job. Limited public comment. At this time, any member of the public wishing to address the board may do so for up to 3 minutes.
I can make a fool of myself like anybody else, I guess. I'm here for Prairieville Township, Pine Lake, the water levels.
state his
It's
name?
been going, is this on or off?
Yeah, could you state your name and your
I'm
township,
sorry.
please?
Sure, I'd mess it up like anybody else can. Doug Kleitz, live on Island View Drive in Prairieville Township, Plainwell. The lake is down now, so nobody's complaining. It's not down as much as we'd like to see it, but I understand, talking to Jim Dahl, that our permit is about ready to run up from the Eagle and DEQ or whoever. I would not like to see that run out. I'd like to see it keep going if it's possible. There's a lot of testing, I guess, that still needs to be done out there. But basically, that's why I'm here. I mean, I got a zillion complaints about the high water level, and you guys already heard them. But I just like to see that permit stay in place if we can. I don't know what all that's involved with that, but that's really all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning, Rick Moore, not related to any other Moores, still currently the harbor master of the Podunk Lake Yacht Club, which has a drain, the Podunk Creek, and named after a famous Civil War soldiers, supposedly. But I wish everyone that's heard my message hundreds of times, please use your outdoor voice or speak into the microphone. The members and guests are both guilty of this indiscretion. And I only have one ear that works very well, and I would really like to hear what you have to say. Because we've all come here to listen to your words of wisdom, both from members and guests, and we wish to hear. So thank you very much. Please use your outdoor voice. Thank you.
Additional public comment?
Hi, my name is Cindy Hook, and I'm also a resident of Pine Lake on Island View. I have lived on Pine Lake since 1980s, over 40 years. I've seen this lake go through many cycles, only for the lake to increase more and more every cycle. My question is, I would like to have answered, how can the county put in a culvert down our road without any permits or money taken out of our taxpayer dollars? Which now created a problem for Island View, but yet culvert on Lake One has been taken out without public knowledge. I believe the solution to the problem would be very simple by putting the culvert back across Pine Lake Road, where they used to have one on Lake One. Since this has been taken out, we have had more flooding. For the residents that have only lived out here a few years has not seen the damages done. In the 1990s, I had a similar issue where we had to bring several truckloads of dirt to protect our homes back in the 1990s when my dad was trying to save our home. When they put the culvert over Oak Ridge, which is now creating a whole nother lake behind us. Also, what people are not seeing, Pine Lake used to have over 27 islands, which are now disappearing also from the high waters. I know people are no longer concerned due to the water going down again. I really believe the next cycle we will be in more trouble. The solution is not seawalls. We need another outlet for water. Just want to know why the culvert on Lake One cannot be put back in for future issues. This is not to drain the lake, only for the water to have somewhere to go other than Oak Ridge Road. Back in the 1990s, when my dad had flooding in his yard, he had to bring over 10 truckloads of dirt in, struggling to save his home. They had to put a culvert in down Oak Ridge Road because the water was going over the road. That land behind us used to be a playground for us kids. And now that is filling up, which we consider Lake 5. The culvert is no longer on Lake One, and I know they've tested the logic whether it drains over there. So I don't understand why we have to have all this testing done. If only they could put that culvert back in on Lake One, like they did on Lake Two, which is now draining behind our house. I just don't know why that other culvert was taken out and when it was taken out. I would be curious to know that, but I know the flooding in the 1990s is when they put the culvert in down our road because there was no other place for the water to go. My concern is once that fills up, it will then start to go over Pine Lake Road by the marina, which then, would they put the culvert in then?
Yeah. Thank you for your comments. Those are questions for Drain Commissioner Dull. He has more of that
Okay.
information than we do here at the board level. But
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
Additional public comment?
Pat Jameson, South Bowens Mills. I'm here to talk about, well, a lot of things, I guess. We'll start with the Planning Commission, the solar fields. Good job there. One of the Planning Commissioner members is on Great Lakes Energy. There's no forethought into an ordinance. Like, who could have seen solar fields coming, you know? Maybe if you guys were not screwing around with blue zones so much since 2019. got so much time and effort into an outside entity, but we can't even think of an ordinance for solar fields? Good job. And Dave Jackson, you know, you were on the governance committee, correct? For Blue Zones, to set up the governance. The Be Healthy Food Council is that other governance. Also, they're the ones that paid for the wrap on the bus. You know, the sponsor. You know, I'm gonna start calling you Disinformation Dave. Because you sat up there under public, or under your commissioner comments one time and talked about misinformation. Safe routes to schools. They do want to drop off your kids relatively close, quarter to half mile away from the school. We got that shut down in Middleville, but I don't know about other schools. I says, I have an unappointed, or a court-appointed county commissioner. She lost the primary, some boundary dispute. Wouldn't even let it go to the correct, you know, the Republican Party. You got a court order to sit up here, and now you're a Blue Zones activator. Director, are you getting paid? Because that seems like a big conflict of interest. The whole non-motorized trail plan for Berry County is a plan from Blue Zones from 2019. And that is now Berry County's motorized, non-motorized trail plan. In Yankee Springs Township, our Parks Committee, you also sit on, wants to put a trail from our one park to the state park through a 100-year floodplain and wetlands. Michael Brown, what's our county budget for, the whole county budget for parks? $100 and some thousand, right? Not exact on that cost, but it's somewhere in the $100,000 range. For Yankee Springs Township, one park, our budget was $1.7 million. We had over $100,000 for that one park. I'm getting sick of this out of control government, and I'm gonna start coming up here and saying it to your faces.
Is there additional public comment? Hearing none, we will move ahead with our agenda. Various correspondence. Does any commissioner have correspondence they'd like to share with the board? I had 3 letters that came in from Heather Beckett, from the Johnstown Township Board, who we also heard from last week, and it looks like from someone named A. Straight. They were all talking about the solar fields and their concern about that going forward, just wanting to see the planning involved. So we appreciate that input. And we also received a letter from Mel Reiser from the Township of Orangeville. Mark, I hope you'll reach out to her and discuss that with her as far as resolving that. So, you know, if you could make that happen, we'd appreciate that. So, any other correspondence from commissioners? Okay. Consent agenda, Commissioner Tunison.
Mr. Chair, A, approval of September 12th, 2023 Board of Commissioner meeting minutes. B, approval of the September 19th, 2023 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes. C, approval of the Title 1V-D Cooperative Reimbursement Program Contract, which covers FY 10-1, 2023 through 9/30 of 2028.
Motion by Tunison, support by Smelker for all items listed on the consent agenda. Discussion is not allowed and a roll call vote is required. All those in favor vote aye, opposed vote nay. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Carlton, absent. Campbell, absent. Doster.
Aye.
Getty.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
Smelker.
Aye.
Tunison.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. The consent agenda is approved. Presentations, we have some employee service awards to go through. Erica Kraus? Stephanie, would you like to assist with these as well?
Do you want me to?
Well, I'd like to add some words. that would be fine.
I didn't plan
Words?
anything, but sure, absolutely.
So, Erica, 5 years with Central Dispatch, looks like as a telecommunicator. Thank you for your service to the county, it's greatly appreciated.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Stephanie?
Erica is also a firefighter with Hastings Fire Department, so I've had the opportunity to work with her family for a very long time. They've provided a lot of public service to our community. Erica is also one of our leading communications training officers, so her responsibilities include training the next generation of 911. She is always willing to be flexible with her schedule, help out at public events, and take care of any overtime that is needed. And so we greatly appreciate her service and her leadership inside the 911 center.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Erica.
Next up, Christina Nevins, also with Central Dispatch, supervisor for a 10-year award. I appreciate your service. 10 years is a long time, so. It looks like you have been 6 years as a telecommunicator and then promoted to supervisor, so you've done quite a few things, so.
So Christina's family is also committed to public service here in Berry County. Her husband is the jail administrator, Pete Nevins. Christina started as a dispatcher with us in 2013. She quickly became a communications training officer, and now as a supervisor, she oversees our training program. She's the communications training supervisor. She is also going through some national courses right now to earn a certification to be what's called a Module 1 instructor in the state of Michigan for 911. So there's some legislative requirements for training for dispatchers, and so she will be able to teach not only our internal dispatchers, but also surrounding counties their first module, their first step. So it'll be the first time we have ever had the opportunity to have a trainer of that level here in Berry County. And so Christina is also very flexible with her schedule, with overtime. She loves to participate in public events, and so she is always very calm, mild-mannered, and smiling, and willing to go above and beyond. And so I greatly appreciate the opportunity that I've had to mentor and grow and work with her and her leadership inside the 911 Center. So thank you, Christina.
It's been a pleasure. Last, Richard Frazier. Is he with us this morning? With the Sheriff's Department? No Richard this morning? Okay. 6 years as a deputy sheriff and now as a sergeant. He has his 10 years of service, so we will get this to him at a later date. So, thank you. Our next presentation is with Courtney Zinni, Executive Director of Commission on Aging, giving us a kind of a sneak peek at some of the preliminary drawings and some of the things they're working on.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm just, yeah, I printed it out as well. Thanks.
Thanks.
Morning, Rebecca.
Good morning, Courtney Zinni, Executive Director of Berry County Commission on Aging. I do want to point out that this morning I'm joined by COA staff, members of the COA Building Committee, COA board members, and members of the steering committee. So while I'm presenting the information, there's certainly a lot of us in the room that can answer questions if need be. So last November, the COA board formed a building committee to address the need of a replacement facility. We began by looking at each of the services we provide, the estimated growth in each area, the current space being utilized by staff and clients, and what the needs and wants were for each individual department. In February, the county commissioners identified the COA facility as a priority. What the aforementioned groups of people have accomplished since then is amazing. Today, we're here to present you with the conceptual drawings for a 16,500 square foot replacement facility to be located on the corner of M79 and McEwen Road, adjacent to the Harvest Point facility. Staff and building committee worked hard with the architectural team and made compromises to design a space that we feel will meet our future needs while being mindful of the overall costs of the project. The COA board understands that the public is not in favor of a millage to support a new facility. With the county's land provision and designation of $3 million towards the project, plus funds already held by the COA, we already have nearly 60% of the funds needed to see this project through to completion. So everyone has the designs. They were passed out to the public as well. So the first page is just a conceptual outside drawing. You can see from that the outside will retain the same look as Harvest Point. We will use signage as well as our individual color. Right now, we're going with green just because that's the color that COA uses. That could change, but and so we'll use that signage, those colors, so that our portion of the facility remains independent and provides that visual of what the COA is. So what does this particular building design provide? To provide comparison, our current facility is just under 10,000 square feet. This design expands the space for our adult day service area for those with Alzheimer's, dementia, and other memory issues. It nearly doubles the area for exercise and fitness classes. It offers an expanded seating and visiting area, as well as an expanded dining area. And if you've been to lunch at our current building right now, you know that we are in dire need of more dining space. We are kind of packing it in right now. So right now, we can currently seat 44. And this new configuration could give us up to 100 for seating if that's the way we choose to design. There are 2 locations within the facility itself where we plan to utilize an expandable divider wall in order to provide flexibility with room usage and size. And this design adds 2 consultation rooms for increased privacy when meeting with clients and their families. It also includes additional bathrooms located strategically at each end of the building. The possibilities of what can be done in the outdoor green space are endless. We look forward to having a covered outdoor area for seniors to enjoy. So there's been a lot of discussion about the location. The county-owned property that is proposed for the new facility is just 5 miles from our current location and can be accessed by state highways. Most of our users of the facility right now either ride the transit or drive their own vehicles. We have very few that walk, so we don't foresee that really changing that usage look. We will continue to work with the transit to make sure that seniors are given priority for their rides. So it does also allow the 2 county entities to share resources, which means a cost savings to taxpayers. Becky DeHaan is here with us today to help answer questions as well, and she put together a very nice list, and it's probably not even all-inclusive necessarily, of some of the cost savings for what we will not have to pay for. So just in food service equipment alone, you're looking at over $350,000. A generator, which probably would not have even been on our list of being able to have at our new facility, nearly $300,000 in cost savings, but yet we'll have those amenities, what we would consider amenities. The list includes much more and is nearly $1.5 million. Another reason for this location is that it has long been the desire of the COA board to produce our Meals on Wheels meals locally. This location allows Commission on Aging and Harvest Point to partner on this endeavor. Meals will be prepared in the brand-new, state-of-the-art commercial kitchen at Harvest Point, which means that our new facility does not need to invest in that infrastructure. Again, that food service equipment, $350,000. We will have a warming kitchen, much as we do now, and be able to use the equipment that we have in our current facility. This, again, is a significant cost savings. The 2 buildings will essentially be connected by a hallway. So on page 2 of your packet, you can see that outlined in red. So that will also be a new area. That will be the area connecting Harvest Point and the Commission on Aging facility. The intention is for that area to house medical services such as dialysis and outpatient rehab that will be accessible to the whole county. So some key details that I might not have mentioned. The COA facility will face M79, and that entrance has been included in the project cost estimate. I talked about that using the similar materials to keep the, I'm so sorry, to continue the aesthetics of the look of the area as we expand this into hopefully an innovative senior campus. COA staff will continue working with the transit to ensure easy access to transportation to and from the facility for those that are relying on that. So what's next? The COA staff and board members will be hosting community conversations around the county to get input from Berry County seniors and their family. We currently have 6 of those set up. Please check our Facebook page. We'll make sure that they get out to all the commissioners and as well as all the townships. We want to know how this new facility can best serve our communities and residents. The COA will kick off a $2.5 million capital campaign in order to raise the remaining funds needed to build the facility. Once a good portion of the money is raised, COA staff and building committee will begin working with the architectural team and engineers to develop the actual building plans. So more detail of what each of the rooms are going to look like. We will continue to look at ways to utilize space in the most economical way possible. So, as I said, there's many of us here today. Becky's here from Harvest Point, as well as staff and committee members. So if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Questions from commissioners? No?
No, I got a comment.
Yeah.
Go ahead, make a comment, Bob.
As usual. Well, I've had the privilege of sitting there, not only on the building committee, but Commissioner Hatfield and Commissioner Getty with the steering committee. And I want to commend both these young women, hard workers, very determined, but individually strong in what they believe in, both in what Becky does and what Courtney does for the COA. And I just want to commend you how you guys have come together to bring this to where we're at now. And there's been a lot of time we've spent on all of us. So I really appreciate both of you for your determination and your forward thinking on where this can go. So thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hatfield, additional questions or comments?
I just would echo Bob. He always gets to speak in front of me, and then I don't have anything to say. But I too sit on the steering committee, and watching this come together from a very undefined idea 6 to 9 months ago. It's been very rewarding, and I think that it's produced a result that is better than any of us could have even imagined when it was first discussed. So I too want to thank both of you and commend you on the work that's been done, and wish you well as you try to close the funding gap.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Commissioner Getty is the other member of the steering committee.
And get to speak after both Bob and Dave. Thank you. No, I echo their comments. I mean, the cooperation, the collaboration, the open-mindedness that got us to this point is refreshing. And both of them have worked so well together, and then keeping the steering committee informed every step of the way with input. I think it's a very practical but forward-thinking opportunity for our seniors in Berry County. Thank you.
But look at the cost savings alone.
Right, that's,
That is amazing, $1.5 million.
and we're gonna have better meals for our seniors for it, because it's not just the equipment and the kitchen, but it's the staffing and the knowledge that already exists at Harvest Point and Thornapple Manor, in how they feed seniors. And it's not simply opening a recipe book. So I'm really happy about how it turned out.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I had the privilege to attend their last meeting and was impressed, thought that was very open and well done, and I've been receiving all the minutes, which I appreciated, so able to keep somewhat informed on it. I have one suggestion, and that is just from personal experience. 30 years ago, I put an awful lot of shingles on a lot of roofs, and now those are all ruins, and I'm putting metal roofs on, and I'm like thinking, why didn't I do this originally? Because those metal roofs will last forever. They also provide other benefits for heating and cooling, and I know that solar is a kind of a dirty word at the moment, but it also would allow you to investigate whether solar panels would be possible, because those can be latched onto the ridges without harming the roof at all. And that there's these rebates or this incentive program from the state that'll pay for 30% of that presently. And I think they also make a film, a roof film that provides solar usage. So that's my one plug is for go metal, go permanent, but
Go metal.
I appreciate that. As you know, our roof is a touchy subject with the COA, so I wrote it down.
With the Harvest Point expansion area outlined in red, will that be serving both Harvest Point and Thornapple Manor?
It will actually service the entire county plus. It's not
Okay.
meant to be either or. It's to be an outpatient facility that would allow for anybody who needs that service to come
Okay.
in.
Easy access? I mean, I can't
Yep.
tell from this drawing, but
Yeah,
there'll
there'll be a parking structure to the, it's gonna be north of the building. That will be an entrance for primarily that purpose.
Okay, and that's going to be funded by Harvest Point?
Yes, that are private
Or
donors as well.
Private donors,
Yep.
okay, all right.
That's coming in at about 1.2 million at this time.
Just for that
Correct.
area right there?
Yep. So primarily, if we can't get the funding to come through, we'd like to do the shell so that we have the future to expand.
Awesome. Great job. We appreciate that update, and we hope you will continue to come before the board as things progress and let us know how the capital campaigns are going and how this is looking. So it's impressive design, and it's great to see some ideas coming together on this. So thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Public hearings, we have none. Items for consideration, Commissioner Smelker.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of claims in the amount of $196,601.89.
Is there support?
Support.
Motion by Smelker, support by Tunison for approval of claims in the amount of $196,601.89. Discussion? Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Campbell, absent. Doster,
aye.
Getty,
Aye.
Hatfield,
Aye.
Smoker,
Aye.
Tunison,
Aye.
Colton, absent. Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, we have none. County Administrator's report? Okay, Chairperson's report. I did attend Prairieville Township last Wednesday. They have a lot going on there, so it's good to catch up with them and see those folks there. They were happy to see somebody from the county there as well. Tomorrow, we have the governance board meeting for the EDA, so that'll be at 8 a.m. over at the Titan Center as well. So that is all I have. Usually the last week of the month is a light one. So Vice Chairperson's report.
Planning Commission meeting last night, very well attended. Two items of business. One for a relocation of a child daycare license to a new residence. The other for a sand and gravel mining operation that had considerable discussion and ended up being tabled. Will probably come back to us in November. A lot of historical information. This is an application that had previously been looked at last year, since 3 of the current members of the Planning Commission are new since then. A lot of new information, and that was the reason for it being tabled. During public comment, a lot of comment on the solar issue, given consumers' energy activities down in the southern part of the county. We realize that there is a great deal of work to be done to develop the application guidelines and the issues that we are allowed to address in dealing with those applications, but also recognizing that the bar is set fairly high by the State Zoning Enabling Act, which puts significant limitations on our ability to fully control what's done in both mining, solar, and wind. So a lot of work to be done. Unfortunately, Jim McManus is currently running a one-man show in his office, and the needs to deal with the day-to-day issues severely impact his ability to do the work that we need to have done to deal with future solar and wind energy applications. So hopefully we can get that department back to strength and get him focused on developing those rules that will make it possible for us to consider those applications.
Perfect, thank you.
I should point out, there are no applications pending at this point. So Consumers has kind of gotten ahead of us in terms of announcing what they would like to do, but that still does need to come to the Planning Commission, and we need to be fully prepared to deal with all of the issues that involves. Thank you.
And as Jim pointed out last week, that ordinance is in progress, but probably won't be to fruition for the next 3 to 6 months.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner reports. Commissioner Doster.
I attended the, I think I mentioned this before, the Gun Lake Improvement Board. They had a presentation by the DNR regarding wake boats that a number of people attended. The DNR has actually done a study of sorts now on their the effect of these wake boats. There's currently no legislation regarding them in the state of Michigan that we're aware of. Their study made a recommendation that wake boats should not be operated 500 feet from the shore or a dock, and in water that is any less than 15 foot of depth, which on Gun Lake would almost eliminate a great deal of Gun Lake. That's kind of the first step. If you can get the DNR on board with a recommendation, then probably the next step is through the township of trying to regulate with an ordinance, that at least they have something to back that on. Other states, this is starting to become quite a hot issue, and it's not going away. The wake boats are getting larger and larger and more powerful all the time. And as I mentioned before, it's also a problem on Pine Lake that I'm aware of as well. But lake associations can make recommendations as well now and fit them in with the DNR. At least they've got something to back up that this is harmful and that there is a way to manage it. So.
Interesting. Thank you. Commissioner Getty.
I don't have anything. I have Village of Meadowville tonight.
Okay. Commissioner Smelker.
Had 911 yesterday. The 800 megahertz towers are moving ahead, slow but sure. And Freeport, the water system with the ARPA money is very near completion. They were painting Freeport on the tower, so it's getting real close to ending.
Fantastic. Commissioner Tunison.
I don't have much either. I'm going to be attending the MERS conference. I think I might have been, I don't, all of a sudden somebody, in June, when you say, yeah, I'll go, and all of a sudden now it's here, and it's like, I gotta leave on a Wednesday. Huh? Leave on Wednesday and won't be back till Friday night? Like, oh man, now what am I gonna do? So I'm looking forward to it though, being down there with Michael.
You will enjoy it. You will enjoy it, so. Pen to him. Okay. Limited public comment at this time. Any member of the public wishing to address the board may do so for up to 3 minutes.
Pat Jameson, South Bowens Mills. I got a problem, another problem, imagine that. With the, all you guys up here, you guys don't represent the people, you represent the nonprofit organizations. The COA, nonprofit. Berry Community Foundation, nonprofit. Chamber of Commerce, nonprofit. Those are the same groups were on the ARPA committee. Remember that ARPA, for the first round of funding? I says, the words out of Bonnie Getty's mouth, no one on this committee has any skin in the game. I call bullshit, okay? Might want to look into that.
Thank you. Additional public comment? Hearing none, there is no other business to come before the committee. Commissioner comments, Commissioner Tunison?
Just basically about the COA, I really appreciate those guys coming and giving this today. These plans are by no means what the staff put a lot of time into this also with they included them a lot into this, and they would like to have a lot bigger building, but I just kept hearing echoed practicality. We got to keep this practical, and I think it has been, and they're trying to spend money wisely, and I think they did a good job of that, where they're coming in at their projections, so I want to commend that.
Awesome. Vice Chair Hatfield?
Nothing else.
Commissioner Doster?
I have nothing further.
Commissioner Getty?
Nothing.
Commissioner Smelker?
I would just like to comment on how I think that Harvest Point, Thornapple Manor, and COA is working together to save money. And seems I kind of got passed over when they were up there. I thought I'd bring that up. Thank you.
I was waiting for you to chime in there, so, normally I don't have to worry about you not saying anything. So, I have nothing. So, at this time, the board is now adjourned. Thank you for coming.